Good evening. I'm Keisha Butts with the CTV News Update. County officials say they will begin demobilizing 2 COVID vaccine clinics. Vaccine operations at the Cheverly Health Center will close at the end of the day today. The clinic at the Laurel Beltsville Senior Center will close next Friday, May 28th. The Wayne Curry Sports and Learning Center and the Southern Regional Technology Complex will continue to offer shots to residents 12 and older. County officials say they will continue to operate 3 mobile clinics. The Maryland Health Department is reporting 443 new COVID-19 cases. The statewide total is now approaching 458,000. The testing positivity rate is down slightly to 2.07%. Meantime, health officials report 14 COVID deaths over the last 24 hours. Well, graduation season is finally here for hundreds of Bowie State University students. As they received their degrees today, they got a special message from a prominent Georgia voting rights activist.
First generation, not the last generation, but I'm definitely happy to kick the door open and start it off.
Leighton Williams, a first-generation college student, is finally ready to graduate from Bowie State University.
I had to watch my grandmother, my mother, and so many other people struggle, but to know that I'm doing something to start putting that burden to rest is absolutely amazing.
These Bulldogs dressed in black and gold are getting ready to accept their degrees. But Bulldog Stadium looks different this year due to the pandemic. Unfortunately, parents couldn't observe from the bleachers. Instead, they had to watch from the parking lot.
I'm just happy they were able to do this because we were worried that they wouldn't be able to do anything. So she gets the experience, and that's enough for me.
Despite these protocols, these grads say they're glad the finish line is finally here.
That's how I feel. Literally, I'm still my emotions is all over the place right now. I'm am I really physically here? But I'm excited and nervous.
Starting my new grad program in the ICU, and I just wanted to, hit the ground running and understand what it feels like to get out there, especially in a time like this.
About 700 grads are accepting their degrees today. There's even a special treat for these Bulldogs as voting rights activist Stacey Abrams is giving the commencement speech.
Education gives us the opportunity to write a new narrative for ourselves, our communities, our nation, our world.
As for Williams, he says he's going to New York for a new job.
I'll be teaching full-time at a boys' charter school.
Former Maryland Governor's Chief of Staff Major Riddick also received the Presidential Medal of Excellence. Riddick was the first African American to hold this position. In other news, the University of Maryland also held its spring commencement this morning. The 2021 graduates sat next to their loved ones at the socially distanced ceremony. This year, due to the ongoing pandemic, the event was held outside at the Maryland Stadium. Traditionally, the graduation ceremony is at the Xfinity Center.
Our lives are made up of billions of individual moments. Most we won't even remember. But this moment right here and right now will be remembered for the rest of your lives.
Asking for help isn't giving up. It's refusing to give up. As our mortality and the fleeting nature of our existence has been so clearly revealed, I think it has caused us to long for and to question what is truly transcendent in life. I am optimistic, my fellow Terrapins, that this will cause us to be people of greater compassion and empathy towards our fellow human beings than we were before the pandemic.
Some 2020 University of Maryland graduates also took part in today's 2021 commencement. You're watching CTV News. I'm Keisha Butts. We'll be back in a moment.
The fight goes on, because just when you think this opponent seems to be pinned down, it comes back to life. So keep your guard up, because if your mask comes off, the fight is lost for all.
Welcome back. The Prince George's County Council has passed legislation it says will help reduce crime and make employers happy at the same time. It's called the Second Chance Act of 2021, and it gives employers incentives to hire county residents who have been incarcerated. Supporters say it will lessen crime and recidivism. Council member at large Mel Franklin calls it a win-win for individuals and employers.
And they get a $5 incentive per hour that employee works. That's a big incentive. That's a big incentive for that employer to offset their costs for workforce. So we hope it's a big incentive. We hope it works well with our employers. We're going to do a big effort to educate our employees about this new incentive once it goes into effect and once it's funded.
Franklin is hoping $500,000 will be budgeted for the program. With carjackings on the rise across Prince George's, officials are urging motorists to take preventative measures to avoid being a target. Officials say to always lock your car doors, also remove valuable items like cell phones, keys, or wallets from your vehicle.
Examine your surroundings at all times when you get in and out of your vehicle. Make sure the area is safe. That's important. I say to the citizens, please be alert at all times.
Officials also say never leave your car running and unattended. Meantime, a Bowie house fire displaces a family and causes more than $200,000 in damages. The blaze happened yesterday around 7 p.m. in the 4400 block of Cape Cod Circle. Fire officials say when they arrived, heavy flames were coming from the first floor of the two-story townhouse. The occupants self-evacuated and were uninjured. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. 3 adults and 2 children were displaced and are being assisted by the Red Cross. An adult male is fatally shot in Upper Marlboro in what appears to be a domestic homicide. The incident happened in the 400 block of Pritchard Lane yesterday afternoon. Once on the scene, police located the victim in a home, suffering from gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead on the scene. An adult male has been taken into custody. Vax to Win, that's the name of a new lottery promotion for those who get their COVID-19 vaccinations. Governor Larry Hogan announced the initiative yesterday as an added incentive to get Marylanders fully vaccinated by the end of the pandemic. Residents 18 and older who have received the vaccine are eligible. No registration or entry is needed.
Beginning next Tuesday, May 25th, the Maryland Lottery will randomly select and award a $40,000 prize each and every day to a vaccinated Marylander. We'll continue to do this every day for 40 straight days through July 3rd. That's 40 drawings over 40 days for the chance to win $40,000 each day. And on the 4th of July, a final drawing will be held to award one lucky vaccinated Marylander a grand prize of $400,000. So it's a total of $2 million in prize money for vaccinated Marylanders.
The program is a partnership between the state and the Maryland Lottery. You may have found more gender pronouns appearing in your emails and Zoom meetings lately. They're listed next to someone's name as titles and refer to a person's gender identity. But why are the gender pronouns becoming more widespread among Americans, particularly in virtual settings? Patricia Vallone spoke with 2 people about what's behind the movement.
So the movement to ask everybody to do it is a movement to try and avoid singling out people who are perceived as gender non-conforming, trans, non-cisgender. So to say, well, if everybody uses pronouns in their signature, then that normalizes this idea that it's not obvious. You can't necessarily tell from someone's name, from how they appear. So it's a movement of really trying to be inclusive.
In English, everything is kind of gender neutral when you're talking about inanimate objects. But in Spanish, you're using everything. A table, la mesa, is feminine. Piso is the floor is going to be masculine. So how do you do that with a language that is so fixated on this particular issue?
There's also people who actually are trying to challenge those grammatical norms, right? And there has been accommodations that are not necessarily backed by La Real Academia, but that we still use to make sure that everybody feels seen. So, for example, Latinx, instead of Latino, we use the X.
The trend is now catching on at schools, businesses, and in local government. Still to come on CTV News, he carries a badge, a gun, and a violin. The street sounds of Officer Strawn straight ahead.
The coronavirus has affected the African American community in many ways, including a drastic drop in blood donations needed for patients with sickle cell disease. If you're healthy, please make an appointment to donate at redcrossblood.org.
Welcome back. Metro commutes in Prince George's will become more convenient if you travel through the Seat Pleasant area. This Sunday, the Addison Road Metro Station reopens. It was closed for 3 months for reconstruction and upgrades. The Arlington Cemetery Station closed during the same period will reopen Sunday as well. Meantime, 4 Green Line and Yellow Line stations will be closing at the end of the month. They'll be closed for construction through early September. Meet Prince George's County Police Officer Alexander Strawn. When he isn't out protecting the streets of Prince George's, he's playing his violin. The classically trained musician has been at it for 20 years. Many weekends you can catch him playing at assisted living facilities and other venues across the region.
I think moving forward, I really want to continue bridging the two, especially as a law enforcement, be able to go out in the communities and play as an officer, play violin for people in senior communities, or the youth in schools, especially for career day. I think it's important for people to be able to see that you can do 2 things at once. You can still be a police officer, you can still have your hobbies and do what your heart desires, and combine the two.
For more information, including upcoming events, log on to healingstringstudio.com. An international recording artist is returning to Prince George's for a free virtual concert. Violist, and vocalist Chelsea Green received her PhD in music arts from the University of Maryland College Park. Tomorrow night's performance is with the Prince George's Philharmonic at 7:30, and on Sunday, Green will host her first performance before a live audience since the pandemic. The venue is the annual Wine and Music Festival in Bel Air at the Harford County Equestrian Center.
It's a live in-person event. It's gonna be my first one coming out of this pandemic. So, I'm vaccinated and I am looking forward to feeling audiences again in person. That for a live musician, that means so much to us. Because the audience is just as much of the show as we are.
To view the free concert tomorrow and additional information, go to chelseagreen.com. The county's animal management agency is looking for forever homes for several rabbits. Officials say they have 10 rabbits in need of loving homes. Chief Rodney Taylor says many were returned by previous owners. He says residents should make sure they're ready to adopt before bringing animals into their family.
Rabbits are very intelligent animals. They have great personalities. The more time you spend with your rabbit, the more you will learn their personality, which is very important. You don't always just want to put a rabbit in a cage and just leave him there, give him food and water and then walk away. No, you got to take him out the cage. You can sit on the couch, watch television, pet your rabbit.
For more information on the rabbits, contact Animal Management. Well, let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 62. Saturday and Sunday, enjoy the hot, sunny weather as daytime temps reach the low 90s and evening lows in the mid-60s. Monday, partly sunny with a chance of showers, a high near 78 and a low around 66 degrees. And now for the community calendar. Make sure you put your health first. Members of the Ebenezer AME Church are inviting you to their free community health clinic. Participants can receive general health screenings, COVID testing, and vaccinations, and more. The event is this Saturday, May 22nd from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. To register, visit the link listed on your screen or visit EbenezerAME.org. And that wraps up our CTV News Update. I'm Keisha Butts. Have a great weekend.